Stinking dingbats. Money, we're going to Super Bowl. Shit. Oh. Yo everybody, this is a quick update before the rest of the video starts. It has just been announced that Mike Groh has reportedly been named the Eagles offensive coordinator. I thought Deuce Staley would get this job, you know, because the amount of time he had been with the Eagles and that kind of thing. But the Eagles really liked Mike Groh and what he did with Nelson Aguilar and bringing him back. And apparently Groh had a lot of input on the Eagles' third down offense, which was second best in the league with like 44% conversion rate. So they really liked what he did, and I guess Doug Peterson felt comfortable with him, so he's been promoted to offensive coordinator. I'd like to see Deuce get it, but look, I trust Doug, I trust what he's doing, and if he feels comfortable with Mike Groh, so do I. So that's pretty much it with the offensive coordinator situation. Now back to the video. Yo everybody, how you doing? King Ding right here, and I'm here to tell you one thing.
Light that bad boy up like Frank.
And that is simply this. Let the Nick Foles trade wars begin. Let them begin. Because we're ready to go. And what do I mean by that? Let me explain. Nick Foles is Super Bowl 52 MVP. He won the Eagles their first Super Bowl.
The champ.
He went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady.
I'm gonna moonwalk his ass.
So, when a team like Minnesota, or if you're Cleveland and you're watching this,
Browns stink.
or if you're Arizona, you're watching this.
Another loser
When
team.
you go to the table, when you go to the negotiating table, you make sure you come heavy. You come strapped, locked and loaded, and ready to go. Because you're not trading for a backup quarterback. You're not trading for just some average quarterback that we had. You're not trading for a young prospect. You're trading for a Philly legend.
Champion of the world.
You hear me? A Philly legend. This guy is up here. You don't come, get in my way.
Dingbat.
But you don't mess with Nick Foles. You don't down Nick Foles. Nick Foles is a Super Bowl 52 MVP who went head to head with Tom Brady. How do you put a value on that? How do you put a value on it? You can't.
Pay up.
When you come heavy. Now, Peter King, he reported a few days ago that the Eagles basically were like, we're not trading Nick Foles for anything less than 2 first-round picks. And you know what? I agree with them. That's right. 2 first-round picks. Because any player that you draft, first round, top 5, any quarterback that you draft, you don't know if he could ever handle the pressure situations that Nick Foles did. Ever. So yes, when you want to trade for Nick Foles, you have to come heavy. Now, I'm sure the Eagles will be willing to go down from 2 number 1 picks. I'm sure that's their starting point. So, what I think is going to happen is I think teams are going to value Nick Foles way more than they did Sam Bradford, way more than they did Alex Smith, way more than a lot of other quarterbacks because he's a champion. And what's going to happen, okay, what's going to happen is you're going to have a bidding war. And I predict that there will be a bidding war for Nick Foles. And the 2 main teams I think will be involved in this bidding war will be Minnesota Vikings because of John DeFilippo and because they have a team that is ready to win if you put a good quarterback in on the roster. The second, the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns have won nothing. They've stunk and they stink every year. They never have a quarterback. They have nothing.
You do some Browns.
They got tons of picks. They got 2 twos, maybe more than I don't even know how many number 1 picks they have. I know they have at least 2. They have at least 2 twos, and they can do it. So in a perfect situation for me, if you could say to me, Philly 500, what would the perfect deal for you be? I would want one of Cleveland's top picks, and I would want to be able to get Saquon Barkley. That to me would be acceptable because he's my favorite player in football. College football, he was my favorite player, and that's who I want. Now, can that happen? I don't know. But I know this, that if you're the Eagles, and let's say Arizona wants to trade the 15th overall pick, then maybe I'll think about it. But I may even need more than that. Because once again, we're at this situation. How do you put value on a Super Bowl MVP quarterback who's 29, who's only 29, by the way? Sorry, that is something you can't just put value on. So if Foles, let's say if these teams come, they say, it's too much for Foles, and we don't trade him, who's going to be upset? I'm not going to be upset. Most of you Eagle fans are not going to be upset. The front office of the Eagles isn't going to be upset. Carson Wentz ain't going to be upset. Nobody's going to be upset.
I'm not upset. You upset.
Because we all know how valuable he is. Okay? And when you feel like that about a guy staying on your team, that should tell other teams how valuable you see him. So these teams are going to have to pay. They're going to have to pay. And if they don't pay, then I don't care. Then we're not trading them. But why would teams go after guys like Kirk Cousins over Nick Foles when Nick Foles can win a playoff game, can win a Super Bowl, can be the MVP of a Super Bowl? You tell me how these guys are more valuable than him. You put a good team around Nick Foles and the good players, and you give him a good offensive line, Nick Foles can be a killer quarterback in this league. No doubt about it. So I believe that most of these teams know that. I believe you're going to see a bidding war. It'll be Minnesota and Cleveland primarily, with Arizona playing a part in it. And I think those are the three teams we're about to hear a lot about. And that's what I think is going to happen. But hey, it's going to happen, man. And why am I smoking a cigar in the victory room talking about this? Because to me, we win no matter what happens. Foles stays, we win. Foles gets traded for a bunch of picks to Cleveland, we win. He goes to Arizona for a bunch of picks or 15th pick overall, we win. If he goes to Minnesota for a bunch of picks or in player or something, we win. We win no matter what. And that's what we're celebrating right now. And besides, it's like going to be 29 degrees where I live. 29 degrees. That's cold. That's pretty cold for here. So I got to come out here and enjoy the cold air because sometimes I miss the cold. I miss the snow. I know people that live in the Northeast, they get sick of the snow. But when you're away from it for a while, you kind of miss it a little bit. I do. But anyways, that's what it is. But I guess I know what's going to happen anyways, right? Because I'm a time traveler, remember? From 2056.
More like a dingbat from 2018.
I'll tell you what. I really, really want to interview a time traveler. I want to interview a time traveler and put it on my channel. Or whatever. I have a lot of questions. I want to talk to them. I find it interesting. Now, me and Josh from Sports Fury, shout out to Josh and Sean from Sports Fury.
Those two dingbats!
Me and Josh, we're going to interview time travelers. Now, I guess maybe we could do like some joint interview or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but like he would work with you.
For time travelers. Time travel is nuts. It's crazy. And I like it.
I'm going to go to the moon.
You guys hear about the whole Donald Trump time traveler? It's pretty crazy stuff. I don't know if I believe it, but it's pretty interesting. Here's how it goes. So Donald Trump, uncle, was some physicist or something at MIT. And back when Tesla died, if you all know who Tesla was, this crazy scientist who was really a genius, actually. He invented a lot of stuff. I believe he found free energy. But when he died, the FBI came and they confiscated all his stuff. They didn't want it to get out. And they had this guy named John Trump, who was Donald Trump's uncle, take the notes, look at all the stuff, and basically go through it to see what it was, what it says, and that kind of stuff. And the theory goes that he found something on time travel, and he didn't give it to the government. He gave it to his nephew, Donald Trump, who was a millionaire or whatever, to do the research, who had the money to do the research and stuff like that.
Like Bruce
Somehow,
Wayne and Batman.
builds a time machine, comes into the future, doesn't like what he sees, goes back and decides to run, or something like that. And then his son apparently goes back to the 1800s to bring, or 1800s and somewhere else, and he also brings Tesla the documents filling this whole time travel circle, confusing my head. It's nuts.
You're such a dingbat. You believe anything.
But I like time travel stuff. I think it's very interesting. But anyways, I like time travel. I'm getting way off on all this stuff. What I'm trying to say is I'm from 2056. I know where Nick Foles is going.
Only thing you know is where the donut shops are.
Okay. Anyways, in all truthfulness, let's get back to Nick Foles now. Now, Nick Foles, I believe, is going to be the most interesting story in free agency. And I think we're about to see a bidding war, and we're going to see a lot of teams interested in getting him, and they better know that they're going to have to pay a lot for him because he's that worth it. No doubt about it. I still need to get better cigars. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much it, really. Foles, he's going to go somewhere, I think. If I had to bet money on it, I think he goes somewhere. I'll say that in order, here are my top 3 teams to land him. First, the team that I think is most likely to land Nick Foles is the Cleveland Browns. I got a feeling the Browns are going to make a play for him, and they're going to give us a lot. And I think Foles ends up in Cleveland. The second team that I think will get Nick Foles is the Minnesota Vikings. With DeFilippo and with a team that's already so close to going to the Super Bowl and just needing a quarterback to get him there, I like Minnesota to be aggressive and give the Eagles a first-round pick and maybe a good player, maybe something in the future to get Foles. And then the third team that I think has a chance to get him and will be aggressive is the Arizona Cardinals. So those are my top 3 teams in order to win the Nick Foles sweepstakes. We're going to hear a lot of things. We're going to hear a lot of rumors. We're going to hear times that he's been traded here or there or whatever. And we're all not going to know what's really going on. But it's going to get crazy. And the bidding war is about to start. So let's all get used to that. With that said, I hope everybody has a great day. Take care. Talk to you later. Hey, don't be a dingbat.